I'm Tad Flakey, and this is Pointless Global News. On today's show, a man vacationing in Vegas got his nutsack stung by a scorpion. Then, scientists discover rats enjoy driving. Finally, we'll learn why NASA is complaining about the high winds coming out of Uranus, making it hard to probe. Now the details. A California man staying at a Las Vegas Strip resort over the 2023 Christmas holiday said he awoke one morning to excruciating pain in his groin area. I just felt like somebody stabbing me in my private area, Michael Farchi of Agora Hills, California, went on to say. It felt like sharp glass or a knife. Upon investigation, Farchi said he found the source of the pain. He went to the restroom and saw a scorpion hanging from his underwear. Farchi said of the December 26th incident, he and his family checked out the next day, a day earlier than planned. The hotel, the Venetian Resort, Las Vegas, compensated him for his room. He felt multiple additional stinging sensations in his hand and groin area, according to the lawsuit that was filed recently on his behalf and his wife. Since the incident, the 62-year-old said that the poisonous sting to his testicles has caused him to suffer PTSD and emotional trauma for which he continues to seek treatment. The incident has had ramifications on Farchi's sex life, says the lawsuit. I can also indicate, as you saw in the complaint, that we're making claim for loss of consortium for Mr. Farchi's wife, said Brian Varag, his attorney. Consortium, by the way, means that Farchi's wife is making legal claims that their sex life hasn't been the same since the sting from said scorpion. According to court documents filed on August 27, the hotel owed a duty of care to plaintiffs to provide a clean, safe, and sanitary room that was free of vermin, bed bugs, or similar things, including scorpions. It doesn't really matter so much how it got there, Varag said. The fact that it was there, and they were on notice that there were prior issues of scorpions at the subject property, that's obviously the main point here. In his lawsuit, Farchi claims that the Venetian Resort had prior knowledge of an infestation of these poisonous, deadly scorpions. From our understanding, there was some ongoing construction at the time that this incident happened. It also was going on just before the incident, so obviously the scorpions had some time to hang around and get comfortable. Farchi shared a medical incident report that he filed at the Palazzo on December 26th. It showed his suite number and what he wrote to the hotel staff that night, quote, bitten by a scorpion on my groin and testicles. In other pointless news, these rats learned how to drive, and they love it, says robotics professor John McManus. We crafted our first rodent car from a plastic cereal container. After trial and error, my colleagues and I found that rats could learn to drive forward by grasping a small wire that acted like a gas pedal. Before long, they were steering with surprising precision to reach a Fruit Loop treat. I would have done the same. I love Fruit Loops. As expected, rats housed in enriched environments, complete with toys, space, and companions, learned to drive faster than those in standard cages. This finding supported the idea that complex environments enhance neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change across the lifespan in response to environmental demands. After we published our research, the story of the driving rats went viral in the media. The project continues in my lab with new improved rat-operated vehicles, or ROVs. That's so clever, isn't it? Designed by robotics professor John McManus and his students. These upgraded electrical ROVs featuring rat-proof wiring, indestructible tires, and ergonomic driving levers are akin to a rodent version of Tesla's Cybertruck. Probably a whole lot better looking and less likely to explode as well. As a neuroscientist who advocates for housing and testing laboratory animals in natural habitats, I found it amusing to see just how far we strayed from my lab practices with this project. Rats typically prefer dirt, sticks, and rocks over plastic objects. Now we have them driving cars. The rats also taught me something profound one morning during the pandemic. It was the summer of 2020, a period marked by emotional isolation for almost everyone on the planet, even laboratory rats. When I walked into the lab, I noticed something unusual. The 3 driving-trained rats eagerly ran to the side of the cage, jumping up like my dog does when he wants to go for a walk. Had the rats always done this? And had I just not noticed? Were they eager for a Fruit Loop, or anticipating the drive itself? Whatever the case, they appeared to be feeling something positive, perhaps excitement and anticipation, or maybe they just couldn't wait for that Fruit Loop. Finally, scientists have found that a rare, intense wind event during NASA's Voyager 2 flyby back in 1986 of Uranus may have seriously messed with our understanding of the planet. And yes, the jokes practically write themselves. But the research is very real, as detailed in a new paper published in the journal Nature Astronomy. NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab scientist Jamie Jasinski and an international team of researchers found that our current understanding of Uranus may be based on data collected during an unusual period of time when Uranus's magnetosphere was in an anomalous compressed state, which only occurs less than 5% of the time. In other words, our current understanding of the distant planet may be far more limited than we thought because the sun was pelting Uranus with solar weather at the time. Jasinski re-examined the data collected by Voyager 2 during its 1986 flyby and found that the probe had examined Uranus shortly after an intense solar wind event, which saw a huge surge of charged particles blast its way from the sun. The event compressed the planet's magnetosphere. They found it causing it to deform into a significantly asymmetrical shape that appeared to lack plasma. In a related story, NASA's James Webb Space Telescope has gotten an unprecedented close-up look at the rings of Uranus. The stunning high-resolution image shows all the distant planet's inner and outer rings, as well as its 27 known moons. These latest observations could help NASA plan future missions to the 7th planet from the Sun. They can also help us understand the meteorological systems of the planets of its size in other parts of the universe. And in yet another related story, to get a better idea of what it takes to send a probe through Uranus and Neptune's atmospheres, an international team of researchers recently simulated such a mission inside Oxford University's hypersonic plasma tunnel, reaching simulated velocities of 11.8 miles per second. Videos show a simulated probe being pummeled by gases found in both Uranus and Neptune's atmospheres. The tunnel is capable of measuring both convection and radioactive heat flux, and critically provide the required flow speeds for the replication of ice giant entry with traces of, you guessed it, methane, explained ESA aerothermodynamics engineer Louis Walpott in an August statement. Despite the blistering speed, they still fell short of the velocities required for these probes to actually make it very far. A probe would need an internal velocity of at least 15.5 miles per second, per the researchers. Now that's a probe of Uranus to make any proctologist blush, wouldn't you say? And that's a wrap for another Pointless Global News. Be sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else you may go to get your podcasts. I'm Tad Flakey. Stay pointless, my friend.